Yo, what's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we've got a brand new video. This time, still on that Bitcoin subject here. A couple things happening, nothing ridiculous, but we do have a small pullback, which we can see right here. This is the Bitcoin daily chart, obviously, on Webull. The huge run up. And right now, we're seeing it dip down a little bit, which is perfectly fine because, we hit, what, $42,497 here. Looks like a pretty big resistance and came down rejected off that so far. And then pretty much bounced off of this like 38,000, almost 39,000. So obviously, we'll be looking to not try and fall back down all the way. But no matter what, right now really is a decent scenario because you can see right here it's a higher high than it was before. So and it went up so parabolically, like if it to make a lower low would have to go back down to 29,000 and do this stuff. So it looks like it'll be fine. Movement is whatever. Short-term price action, though, really isn't that big of a deal. It really is just kind of interesting to look at and see where it bounces everything. But still looking great long-term, bullish on everything. And on-chain metrics are actually looking really good for Bitcoin because you can see right here, this is uh, obviously says the current price level has been the most on-chain volume since $3,800, and this chart just shows you on-chain volume. So that's transactions, that's sending Bitcoin, receiving Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin, selling Bitcoin. All the things to do with using Bitcoin and on-chain. And you can see this is where we're price range right now, around this 39,000, 30 or 40,000, around this place. And it's just a lot of volume here, a lot of on-chain activity, a lot of people using Bitcoin, getting involved with it, sending it, receiving it, doing all of those things. And that's a pretty big level to show like there's a lot of interest at Bitcoin even at this price, and there's a lot of use for it too. So same thing we saw, back down here. I mean, this is the only time it was higher was the 3,000 to 4,500, about that range. So, a lot of people getting in. And could this be a good sign for the future of Bitcoin to see if it's going to continue a rally or going to finish the year strong with the bull market? And then just another big key resistance for Bitcoin is the 20-week average, the 20-week moving average. And that's always been a big key, obviously, of like telling Bitcoin stuff. In a bull market, it stays above it and all of that. So right now, we did see it get a close for a weekly candle above this 21 EMA, which is good for the price short term, good for all that. Try and bring back bullishness. Right now, we're a little under that. Obviously, it's about 40K is what this moving average is at. But getting back above that will be a big first step in kind of making it support again and then going off from there. That's what'll most likely many people are looking at, is for Bitcoin to get above the 21 EMA and then find like bounce off it as a support maybe, and then that'll when people get much more bullish and we could see the price really start to move. And just some more on-chain data is right here from Plan B talking. The realized cap is rising again, and then what the realized cap is the average price at which all Bitcoin were last transacted, and then calculated over the transactions. Also, the few sellers at the moment are selling at a profit, not a loss. In my opinion, bullish. Completely agree with him. People selling at a profit is a lot more a better sign than people selling at a loss. That's like people wanting to get rid of it, cut losses, and we saw that in like the big crash from when Tesla stopped accepting Bitcoin, all that stuff. We went from the 50, 60K and fell there. We saw a lot of people selling at losses there. So selling at a profit isn't, unnormal and stuff. But this just kind of is his stock to flow model. But it is good to know that the realized cap's moving so that more people are getting involved in Bitcoin now. That's what would make the cap go up. The amount of money that Bitcoin's worth and stuff would make the cap move. The more people move it, we already saw that there's a ton of movement right here, obviously in this price. So it'll continue to bring the moving cap up. So that is pretty bullish for Bitcoin. A good thing to start seeing that people are selling for profit again, make people sentiment, make the market sentiment better for Bitcoin instead of people cheering for 20K and saying that it's going to do that, although those people are still very much here and screaming that. There's a much more people who would come in and be more positive about Bitcoin if people aren't selling at losses and getting scared. And the industry for Bitcoin continues to move forward. We're seeing Marathon Group here. They're one of the largest Bitcoin mining companies in North America, and they're purchasing $120 million of additional machines, so additional miners. And if all of Marathon's miners were deployed, the company's hash rate would represent 12% of Bitcoin network's total hash rate. So this just goes to show that the Bitcoin network is continuing to grow and continuing to, get adoption and do all of the things that are fundamentally good. And what we can notice with the price when you want to look at that is short-term technicals can take over and try and predict things, but in the long term, fundamentals take over, and we're seeing the network continue to grow, the hash rate continue to recover, much more companies starting to sprout up, Bitcoin companies going public, miners going public on the stock market. So Bitcoin is continuing to grow, and that fundamentally could not be more bullish. So anything can happen short term, but you should be in Bitcoin and ready for it for the long term, to want it for at least 5 to 10 years, so that you can actually see the effects of Bitcoin. And we're at a point in Bitcoin where it's not insanely risky to have Bitcoin like it was when Bitcoin was $10, $100 a coin. And another company moving forward with Bitcoin integration is Twitter. You can see obviously right here is Twitter integrate Bitcoin into commerce, subscriptions, the Twitter tip jar, and super follows. I don't know if super follows are a thing yet, and the tip jar is just for like a select few people, and then subscription and commerce, that'll like be something that not like for Twitter itself, like doing all this stuff, but it'll be on Twitter, but it won't be like tweets and stuff. So, but it's good to see all these companies coming together and getting involved in Bitcoin and deciding to use Bitcoin and get in the Bitcoin network and get in this ecosystem. And Twitter obviously is owned, or CEO is Jack Dorsey, and he's also the CEO of Square, which you can see from here is that Bitcoin now makes up 58% of Square's total revenue. So they made it's $2.7 billion. These are in millions, this chart here. So it's $2.7 billion of revenue through Bitcoin when their total revenue is $4.6 billion. So that is absolutely crazy that Bitcoin can make up over 50%, almost 60% of a company's income, of a company's revenue, when they weren't even a Bitcoin company to begin with. So maybe this will bring a lot more people to kind of think of Bitcoin and integrating it where it can help their business and can make them a lot more money. Like we're seeing with Square, a non-Bitcoin company, it made up almost 60% of their company's revenue. So other companies could plug in and use it to make more money and do more revenue, and it'll benefit Bitcoin users and holders, and it'll benefit the company. It's a benefit for everyone in general. And then we can end this off with two things that Bitcoin always makes you feel, and that is that you're too late, which is never true, and that you don't have enough, which is always true, because no one can ever have enough Bitcoin. So funny two things that you always think when Bitcoin is pumping, you think it's too late and you don't have enough, and when it's at all-time highs, you feel like it's really too late. When it dumps, you feel like you have too much and that it was too early that you got in and stuff. So it can always make you feel different types of ways, but overall, Bitcoin will always make you feel in 5 years, 4 years minimum, that you were not actually late and that you definitely didn't have enough Bitcoin. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Just some Bitcoin talk. Nothing huge going on with Bitcoin, and the kind of short-term price action is just something to be interesting at, see where we go from here, and see how quiet the Bears have gotten. And, you know, we're looking to make new all-time highs and see that July and December run take over. So we'll see what happens. But as always, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. See you guys in my next video.